Good morning, everybody. I am so excited that we finally get to start learning together again. It's new for everybody, the way that we're doing this. I've never taught this way before. You've never learned this way before. So it's totally fine if you're feeling a little bit confused or aren't really sure how to do different things because it's new for everybody. Before we start this math lesson, I'll kind of give you an overview of what the week is going to look like from now on. So every morning when you wake up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there will be a new video for you to watch about a different subject. So you'll watch that video, we'll review some stuff that we already learned during the school year, and then you'll get to pick one way to try out that skill that we just practiced. And all of that is going to be posted on my school website, the K.1a. After you practice that skill on your own, then you can come and join me on Zoom, which is a way that we can video chat and talk to each other at 9:10 a.m. So a little bit after 9 o'clock, I'll invite you guys in, and then you can ask me any questions that you had about what we just learned, and just pop in to say hi, check in, see how everyone's doing, and that kind of thing. So it should be good. Today we are doing math, so we can go ahead and get that started. All right, so during the school year, we talked a lot about strategies that we can use. So I want you to think in your head and think about, what does the word strategy mean? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. What does the word strategy mean? What is a strategy? Okay, so a strategy, you might have heard it a lot when we were talking about counting strategies. A strategy is something that we can use to help ourselves do something. So a counting strategy, they're different ways to help us count. And they're really important because some of you guys are really awesome counters. Some of you can count to 50. Some of you can count to 100. Some of you can count even beyond 100. So we have a lot of great counters in our classroom. But sometimes when we're really good counters, we get excited to count things. So instead of counting one thing at a time, we get really excited. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you know what? Sometimes we skip numbers. Sometimes we skip the objects that we're counting. Sometimes we don't make the right number or get the right number after we're done counting. So it's important that we use counting strategies. That way we always know how many things that we have and we always get the right number. So I hope that makes sense. We learned a lot of counting strategies when we were still in school. So we're going to go over some of those. At the end, I really hope that you're able to tell me I can use a strategy to help me count things, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. So I have some stuff over here that you guys are going to help me count. I'll turn it down this way so you can see. So take a look. Keep them all here. Sometimes they roll away a little bit because they are circular. All right. So one of the strategies that we can use is touching things as we count out loud, right? Because if we just count in our heads, sometimes we skip numbers that way too. It's important that we count out loud so we can hear ourselves counting, and that might help us realize if we missed a number. So watch my finger and listen as I count out loud. Yeah, I'll move it a little bit so you can see all of them. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because I was able to touch each one and count them out loud, I knew that the way I was counting was in the right order. And by touching each one, I'm trying to make sure that I count every single object. So we found out that we had 5 of these little balls. All right, there's another way that we also learned how to count, another strategy. And I like this one a little bit more than the last one that we just did. So take a look again. Here's all of our balls. Right now, when I was counting them out loud with my finger, maybe it was still a little bit hard to see which ones you counted and which ones you didn't. So we can move them from one place to another place. So we still count out loud each one that we move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did we have? Were you counting out loud with me? We had 5. And I knew that I counted all of them because if you look down, there's no more over here. I moved them to a different place. So I knew that I counted every single object. And the very last number I said was 5, so I know that I have 5. One of the last ways that we learned how to count different objects that we can pick up, this one is my favorite way, is we line them up first and then count them. Because if they're all in one big pile, sometimes it's hard to see. So for this one, I'm not going to use these anymore. I'm going to put these away. I have a bunch of pasta that I'm going to use. Now this, I have a lot more of this than I did of those balls. So it's a little bit harder to see how many I have, which is why lining them up is going to be a really good strategy for me to use. So let's take a look. Okay. So I'm going to line all of my pasta up first. And then I'm going to count it afterwards. When I line it up, it makes it really easy to see. It's a straight line. That way I can go right down the line and make sure I'm not skipping any. Make sure I'm not counting some more than once. And we're going to see how many of these we have. All right, that's a lot of them. Let's start counting. Remember, we're going to touch and count each one out loud. 1, move it up a little bit so you can see me saying it out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I know that 19 is the number that I had because 19 was the very last one that I said. And lining them up made it really easy for me to see if I was counting them all, if I wasn't skipping any. Counting out loud made me realize and made me make sure that I was counting all of the numbers in the right order. Sometimes when you say things out loud, it helps you notice things. So I'm going to move all 19 of these back onto my plate. We're going to talk about one more strategy. This strategy is a really good strategy for us to use if we can't pick things up and move them. Because sometimes if we're counting different things, like if we have a piece of paper and we want to count how many ladybugs or something are on it, or pictures of dogs or something like that, something on a piece of paper, something in a picture, and we can't move them around, we're not able to use those other strategies. So this one, if we take a look over here, we cannot pick up these dots and move them around. So what we can do instead, you can take a marker or a pen or a pencil, anything that you can use to make marks on, and you can use it to help you count. And the way that you do this is every time that you count one, instead of touching it, you're just going to put a little mark on it. That way you can see that you've already counted it. If it has a mark on it, it means you already counted it. If it doesn't, you can count that one. And it's really easy to see if you've already counted something or if you've counted it more than once and things like that. So every time you make a mark on it, I want you to count out loud with me, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For this one, I had 12 dots. And something that's really good for us to practice doing after we count is writing that number down. So after I counted 12, I could go ahead and write my number 12 at the bottom. I know exactly how many dots I have because I was using one of my strategies. So hopefully you remembered some of that from when we learned about it in school. If you didn't, hopefully that helped you a little bit. Now, remember, I told you before we started this, by the end of this, I want you to be able to say, I can use one of my strategies to help me count. So it's up to you to find out which strategies work for you. What ones are going to be the best for you to use when you're counting things. Now, what I want you to do, remember, there's another part. You can go back to the website, on my website on the Abscal, and there's going to be a choice board. There's going to be a math section, and you can pick one thing from that board to help you practice doing what we just did. So that's your next job. Go to the website, pick one thing to help you with your math, and then afterwards, you can join me on Zoom at 9:10, and I can help you with questions. I can say hi, anything that you want. So I hope that helped, and I will see you all soon.